Today will be a momentous day for the New York Islanders and one of their best players. We'll talk about that and its impact on the team and a lot more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to the Thursday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. I'm Gil Martin. I've been covering the New York Islanders for almost 2 decades, and I wrote the book Ice Wars on the history of the Islanders' rivalry with the Rangers from 1972 till the modern era. So glad you could join us today and talk a little Islanders hockey. We've got so much to discuss. It's decision time for the Islanders on one of their best players. We'll break it down and its significance. We also answer your mailbag question on Mathew Barzal. We have a Cole Eiserman injury update, and we'll preview tonight's game against the Carolina Hurricanes as the Islanders' road trip continues. Let's start with the decision, and I think it's about as easy a decision as you can get. But tonight, against the Carolina Hurricanes, will be the Islanders' 10th game of the season. And assuming that Matthew Schaefer plays in that game, he will have crossed the Rubicon. He will no longer be able to go back to juniors to Erie to play. He will officially be up with the New York Islanders for the rest of the season. Now, could they, in theory, loan him to the Canadian World Juniors team? Yes. Would they? Well, we'll cross that bridge when and if we get to it. He could obviously get hurt. Hopefully that is not going to be a factor. But ultimately, Matthew Schaefer, as of tonight, will be a New York Islander for the rest of this season and, hopefully for many years to come, because as of right now, once you've played 10 games, you are not eligible to return to juniors. We know, according to the rules of the game, he is not allowed to play yet in the AHL at the age of 18. And so this is it. This was a big question in training camp, in preseason, maybe after a game or two. But so far, Matthew Schaefer has shown that he can handle life in the NHL. He has 2 goals and 7 points in the first 9 games. He's a +3, plus minus. He has, in 9 games, 28 shots on goal, which is 3rd on the team. He leads the team in ice time, and he has actually blocked 10 shots, which basically puts him tied for 5th on this team. And the kid has shown he is ready to play in the NHL. That is not to say there aren't things he needs to work on. That is not to say that he can't be better in certain areas. Obviously, the physical side of the game remains an issue. And he has already admitted that much during, intermission interviews with Shannon Hogan on MSG Network, where he said, yeah, I need to put on some muscle. And we have seen opposing teams trying to intimidate him. So far, it does not seem to be working, but you want to see that he doesn't get hurt, that the Islanders protect him, and whether or not, Matthew Darsh will make a move in that direction or not remains to be seen. But ultimately, when you break it all down, the most important aspect of this is that Mathew Schaefer is already, without question, through 9 games, one of the top players on this roster, if not the top player. And you can argue, okay, maybe Bo Horvat, there are other players that you can make a case for, but I think if you're doing a top 3, he's almost certainly in the discussion. And if you're doing a top 5, he's got to be in the discussion. He has still to be better in his own zone as far as some of the decisions he makes. He will learn all of that. He is a smart kid with a high hockey IQ. And, the learning curve is inevitable. It will take a certain amount of time for him to fully realize his potential. But at the same time, I'm not worried about that. I just want to keep him healthy. I want to keep him on the ice. I want to see, and we know that development in the NHL, like in any sport, is not linear. He is not going to be better a little bit every game for the next, for the rest of this season. He'll have, a good game and a bad game, or 3 good games and a not so good game. But hopefully overall, the arrow is pointing upwards, and I am really happy and confident that Mathew Schaefer is going to not only do well this year, but will have and already has had a big impact on the New York Islanders. And I'll even say it in this way. Everydayers, you probably have heard me say this, and I also have mentioned it in social media, tweeted it out. Mathew Schaefer is one of the reasons, and probably the biggest reason, why the New York Islanders are suddenly a lot more entertaining to watch. And let's face it, hockey, like all sports, is entertainment. And having Mathew Schaefer out there on the ice, knowing that he can put on the jets, make a good pass, make a good move, get back in time to break up a breakaway. We've seen him do all of these things. We have seen, I will even say this, Mathew Schaefer has gone to the dirty areas in front of the net more than some of the Islanders forwards have this year. And that shouldn't be a thing. And both of his goals came in front of the net where he was, moving up and getting involved in the play. And he doesn't seem to get caught up ice all that often. It has happened, but his speed allows him to catch up and do what needs to be done to recover when he makes a mistake. Now, the intimidation thing is interesting. I don't want to see him dropping the gloves. I don't want to see him fighting his own battles right away. The last thing anyone wants to see is, what if he breaks his hand fighting or gets injured fighting? Keeping this kid healthy and keeping him, giving him the opportunity to grow and develop as a player, that to me is going to be absolutely vital to this team. And I hope we see it throughout the rest of the season. But I like what I've seen from this kid. He is smart. He is fast. He has a great attitude. He is humble. And yet he is also confident. And that is a rare and dangerous combination. So good news there for the New York Islanders and for Mathew Schaefer. And he is going to be in the NHL, and he deserves to be. Now, the sky is the limit, the way I see it, for Mathew Schaefer. And I think we're still going to see more from him offensively as he gets more comfortable. I want to see more of him in overtime. I think 3-on-3, he can be a difference maker, especially if you team him with Mathew Barzal, because those two guys can skate with each other and create with each other. All of this is just encouraging stuff if you're a fan of the New York Islanders. The Islanders, very fortunate to win the draft lottery, And here we are seeing the early dividends of Mathew Schaefer arriving on Long Island. And as of tonight's game, as soon as he hits the ice, no turning back, no more juniors. He is a New York Islander for the rest of this year and most likely long beyond that. We have got a lot more to get to on today's show. We have our Cole Eiserman injury update. We'll answer one of your mailbag questions about Mathew Barzal. We'll preview tonight's game against the Hurricanes. And for our Islanders' birthday of the day, the first Long Islander to play and score a goal for the New York Islanders. Let's see if you can guess who that is. All that and more next on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late-game push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Again, place that first $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel.com. Check it out today. So, Cole Eiserman, we have been waiting since Friday to hear what's going on with Cole Eiserman. Now we know. And, he was seen on crutches after the game over the weekend. We've actually been waiting since, Saturday or Sunday. Sorry about that. We finally got an update from Jay Pandolfo, the head coach at Boston University. And Pandolfo told the Boston Globe he's going to be back at some point. We just don't know if it's next weekend or the weekend after, but he will be back sooner rather than later. Islanders Nation can exhale. This is not a serious injury. And it looked really bad on the replay. And when you hear that he was on crutches after the game, that is enough to certainly scare you. But here's why it's important. Number one, you don't want an injury that's going to compromise his ability, slow him down, compromise his skating, hurt his confidence. But second of all, the whole thing about Eiserman and any other prospect is to improve, he's got to play. Well, in the team's first 7 games this year, he has scored 6 goals. And this kid, look, he has to work on some other things, no doubt, but what he can do when he shoots the puck is pretty special. And allowing him, let's say he misses, Pandolfo said it could be this weekend he comes back. It could be next weekend. Let's even say he misses the next 2 weekends. That's another, 4 games usually. He'll still play 30-plus games, assuming he stays healthy. And that is what you need. You need to see him playing well. And here's the other thing. He should be able to play at the World Juniors again with Team USA, probably on the top line if he continues to play at the level he started this season at. And, last year he was kind of an extra forward, fourth line, power play specialist. Great news about Cole Eiserman. No, he is going to miss some time. He didn't get off scot-free, but the injury sure could have been worse. All right, time now for our mailbag question. This is from Joseph in Fort Worth, Texas. Oh, he says, always a fan, even if I don't live on Long Island anymore. My question is regarding Barzy. Is it just me, or does Barzy make a ton of neutral zone errors? I know he's an amazing skater and playmaker, but more often he's fumbling the puck, overskating, and or giving a risky pass that gets turned over. Too many times it happened in the Bruins game Tuesday night. Love your podcast. Thanks for the time. Joseph from Fort Worth. Joseph, thanks for the question, first of all, and for the kind words about the show. Look, here's the thing about Mathew Barzal. I'll answer it in a couple of ways. You're right. He does turn the puck over too often. I think in the last few games, he's turned it over, the last 2 games especially, at the offensive blue line, but that leads to a quick odd man rush sometimes in the other direction. Yes, he does overskate sometimes. Yes, we have seen him pass up good shooting opportunities to try to make that perfect pass to set up another scoring opportunity for a teammate. Mathew Barzal is a high-risk, high-reward kind of a player. And when he does things well, he is highlight reel spectacular. And when he does things poorly, a lot of the time it leads to highlights for the other team. I still think, that Matthew Schaefer gives Matt Barzal a player who can keep up with him, who can probably work really well with him in order to, make him a little more productive. But the other thing, and I've been saying this for a while, they got to get him a sniper. I want to see Mathew Barzal shoot more often than he's shooting, okay? But he is never going to be a shoot-first guy. In 9 games right now, he has 17 shots on goal. And, considering how much ice time he's getting, there are, 4 players who have more shots than him, and then Tony DeAngelo is tied with Barzy. But Barzal is right now a close third on the team in ice time. He is getting a lot of opportunities. He needs a sniper on his line. If you get Mathew Barzal on a line with a 35, 40, 50 goal scorer, that could be like if Cole Eiserman becomes what he's supposed to become, him getting pucks from Barzal could be absolutely magic. Or, again, if the Islanders trade for or draft a sniper or sign one as a free agent, if they ever hit free agency, I still, in part because of the reasons you cited, would like to see him back with Bo Horvat, see Barzy moved back to the wing. They could call Cal Richie up. And by the way, Cal Richie playing for Bridgeport tonight or last night now, Wednesday night, playing for Bridgeport, got an assist early in the game. So he is back in the lineup. That's encouraging. But I want to see Barzal on a line with some of your best goal scorers. That's what I want to see. And the Islanders don't have a sniper, and they haven't had one. But I think when you team him with Barzal and move him to the wing, he's a little less reckless with the puck. And it's a catch-22, right? Because if he's in the middle of the ice, he has more options to skate. He can go left, he can go right, he can, a center is usually the last offensive player into the offensive zone because they have defensive responsibilities that a wing doesn't have. There's a lot of reasons for it, but ultimately, he has to be a little more positionally disciplined on the wing. So you take away a little something, but you gain a little something. And I think right now, if I had to team him with anybody, I want Mathew Schaefer on the ice with Barzal as often as possible, but putting him with a Bo Horvat, they have chemistry, and he is Horvat, arguably the best goal scorer on the roster right now. Ultimately, you want to see Mathew Barzal on a line with a sniper to maximize his productivity and his talents. But Joe, you're right. He is often overskating or turning the puck over and making risky passes. And it's something I think he has done less overall in recent years, but it's sort of like when he's pressing, when he's struggling, that's his fallback. It's like he'll revert to that when he's not able to create well, when he's trying too hard, when he's squeezing the stick a little bit, so to speak. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'm with you a lot, but, he is still one of the more talented players, if not the most gifted offensive player on this team. And if they can find a sniper to go with him and maybe get him to be a little more consistent than he has been, I think we'll be in a good place. So, Joe, thank you again for the question. Hope that answers it for you. And always great to get mailbag questions. Again, lockedonislanders@gmail.com for mailbag questions. And we are always happy to answer your questions here on the Locked On Islanders podcast. We've got more to get to. Islanders, Hurricanes tonight. Make sure that you remember it's not on MSG Network because of it is a nationally televised game on ESPN Plus. So keep an eye out for that. We'll preview that game, and we'll have our Islanders birthday of the day coming up next on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where my money's going and how to make it work harder for me. And if you and your significant other share accounts, Monarch is a great tool to keep both of you on the same page. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Islanders, Hurricanes, Metro Division matchup tonight, 7:30 in Carolina. And this is going to be an interesting game. The Hurricanes off to a 6-3 start. They're coming off a 6-3 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. But again, this is a team that has been a perennial contender. They can't seem to break through all the way to the Cup final and the playoffs, but they're contenders every year. And, they're middle of the pack in goals scored, 13th, a little above average, 9th in goals against. Their power play right now, dead last in the NHL, only 10% success rate, but the PK is 11th at 82.9. We know this team only too well. Seth Jarvis, 7 goals and 11 points in the first 9 games. Sebastian Aho, not the ex-Islander, but the other, quote-unquote, Sebastian Aho, 4 goals and 11 points in 9 games. And this is a team that plays a smart, disciplined style of hockey and will not be easy to beat on the road. The line combinations for the Hurricanes, Sebastian Aho, Nikolai Ehlers, and Seth Jarvis are the top line. And Ehlers only has 3 assists so far in 9 games, so it's been a little bit of an adjustment for him. You don't want to be the team he breaks out against. The second line, Logan Stankoven, centering Taylor Hall and Jackson Blake. Jordan Stahl, Andrei Svechnikov, and Jordan Martinook are the third line. And Jesperi Kotkaniemi Centers Mark Jankowski and Bradley Nadeau on the fourth line. Alexander Nikishin and Sean Walker, the top defensive pair. Shane Gostisbehere and Jalen Chatfield are the second pair. Joel Nystrom and Dominic Fensor are the third pair. Gostisbehere is a little shaken up, so we'll keep an eye on that. He may not be available. The goalies, Frederick Anderson, who is expected to be the starter, and Brandon Bussey. And yes, by the way, David Riddick expected as of now to get the start for the Islanders. On IR, Eric Robinson, Jacob Slavin, Pyotr Kochetkov, William Carrier, and Keandre Miller are out. So a lot of injuries affecting the Hurricanes, and yet they are still 6-3. You want to beat the Hurricanes, you've got to be disciplined. And I'm not even just talking about not taking foolish penalties, which we all know the Islanders have taken their share of this year and in the recent past. But you've got to play defense where you're not turning the puck over. These guys will forecheck you and counterattack and do it well. And even without all those injured players, they are dangerous. The talent level, that power play is better than dead last in the league. And hopefully the Islanders will not let them have their breakout game on the power play. Time now for our Islanders' birthday of the day. And today is the 70th birthday of former Islanders forward Richie Hansen, the Northport, New York native, the first ever Long Island native to play for and score for the New York Islanders. He was a 7th-round pick by the Isles in 1975, made his NHL debut in the 76-77 season, only played 4 games, but did score that first career goal. And he grew up a Rangers fan because there were no Islanders back then. And that was the team he scored that first goal against. Played 2 more games for the Islanders the following year, 77-78, and 12 games in 78-79. Then went to the minors and played 2 more games in the NHL with the St. Louis Blues. All told, 20 career NHL games, 2 goals, 10 points, 4 penalty minutes, never appeared in a Stanley Cup final or playoff game, but did win 3 different championships in the Central Hockey League. So in the minors, he was a perennial 25, 30 goal scorer, even had a 40-goal year in the old North American Hockey League with the Erie Blades. One of his better games as an Islander, well, we'll take you to the first goal of his career. February 3rd, 1977, Islanders hosting the Rangers at the Nassau Coliseum. Gilles Gratton, Grattoon the Looney, was the goalie for the Rangers, one of the best masks in NHL history. Chico Resch, the goalie for the Islanders. And in this game, with the Islanders up by a score of 5-3, midway through the third period, our Islanders' birthday of the day, Richie Hansen scores his first career NHL goal, and Gary Howitt gets the only assist. That makes the final score Islanders 6 and the Rangers 3. So a monumental moment against the team he grew up rooting for, and for the team that plays, so close to his hometown. So a magic moment for Richie Hansen, and the first ever Long Island native to score a goal for the Islanders. Hansen in this game, he had a goal. He was a +1. And of course, he had 3 shots on goal in this game. Richie Hansen, the first ever Long Island native to score a goal for the Islanders, is our Islanders' birthday of the day. I want to thank everyone for making Locked On Islanders your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. If you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to discuss on a future show, email us at lockedonislanders@gmail.com. If you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we discuss whatever's on your mind. You could follow the show on X at Locked On Isles. You could follow me, Gil Martin, on X at Ice Wars, NYR VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all things Islanders all year long. And I'm live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. So join me for some instant insight and analysis. And it's great to talk Islanders hockey with you, game time or anytime. Everydayers, we are back tomorrow. We'll have our key takeaways from this game against Carolina. And we will preview Friday's road game against the Washington Capitals, as the Islanders have their first of 15 back-to-back games this season. So make sure you join us for that. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And of course, let's go Islanders.